Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Stacy Smith and I'm the author of Shine From Within, illustrated by Young Won King. This story is very special to both of us because it's based on real feelings and experiences that we had when we were younger. Even though Young Won and I grew up in different places of the world and in different cultures, we realized that many of the emotions we experienced as children were very similar. Feelings of self-doubt, wanting to belong, feeling different, and learning how to find confidence. So this book is not just a story that we created, it's a story that we felt and that we worked to bring together to life through both words and illustrations. When I started writing Shine From Within, I had to think about the story not just as an adult, but from the perspective of a child. And that was actually one of the most challenging parts of the writing process. As adults, we tend to have more experience and more confidence, but children are still learning how to understand their feelings and how to see themselves. So I had to ask myself, what does it feel like to be left out as a child? What does it feel like when someone says something that really hurts your feelings? What does it feel like to start to believe that maybe you're not good enough? And what does it feel like when someone helps you see yourself differently? This story is really about that moment. The moment when someone begins to forget their light and someone else helps remind them that their light never disappeared. While I was writing the story, Young Won was illustrating the emotions through images. So we were both telling the same story, but in different ways. I was telling the story through words, and she was telling the story through images and color and facial expressions. So this process became very collaborative. We had to think about, what is Shine feeling in this moment? What is Jason feeling in this moment? What do we want children to feel in this moment? And we realized that this story is not just about one child. This story represents many children. Many children struggle quietly with confidence, belonging, and self-worth. And sometimes all it takes is one person to help them see themselves differently again. In this story, Shine is the hero, but she is not the hero in the way that we usually think about heroes. Her journey is an internal journey. Her journey is about learning how to see her own value, her own voice, and her own confidence. That is why this book is called Shine From Within, because this story teaches that your light does not come from other people. Your light is already inside of you. Sometimes it just gets dim when people say hurtful things or when we start to doubt ourselves. Jason, her sibling, plays a very important role in the story. Jason represents the person in our lives who reminds us who we are when we forget. He represents kindness, empathy, and courage. Jason shows us that we all have a role in other people's lives. We can be the person who makes someone feel small, or we can be that person who helps someone feel strong again. So while Shine is the hero of the story, Jason represents something very important. He represents the power of using your voice to lift someone else up. And that is a very important lesson for children, that we are responsible not just for how we feel or how we see ourselves, but also for how we treat other people. This story matters because social and emotional learning is not just about feelings. It is about how children learn to build confidence, show empathy, solve conflict, and use their voice to help build healthy relationships. These are the skills that shape who we become later in life. As someone who works in education and studies leadership, I truly believe that leadership begins with emotional intelligence. When a child learns confidence, empathy, and kindness, they're already learning how to become a leader. So this book is not just a children's book, it is a book about identity, confidence, kindness, and leadership, written in a way that children can understand. Our hope for Shine From Within is that when a child reads this book, they see themselves in the story and that they remember that their voice matters and that their light matters. And we also hope that the children who read this book remember something else, that they can be like Jason. They can be the person who helps someone else feel seen, feel included, and feel valued. Because sometimes people shine on their own, and sometimes we help each other shine. And that is really what this story is all about. Thank you.